I don't need a PhD in medicine from somewhere like NYU or Columbia to know that there are fundamental differences between men and women. Women, for example, are natural talkers. Men, we have a tendency to be silent a lot of the time. My dad's always told me if you have a secret and you want it to be uncovered, you want people to know about it, just go tell a woman. Women have a tough time sometimes keeping other people's secrets. If my mom gets a juicy piece of gossip, she's on the phone all afternoon telling everyone she knows. On average, women speak about 20,000 words a day. Men, under 7,000. When it comes to the process of making decisions, men and women completely different. Last night, my girlfriend was watching one of those home renovation shows. It's one of those shows where they show people new homes while they also renovate their current home. At the end, the couple has to make the decision whether they want to keep their renovated house or sell it to purchase the new house. This episode featured an older couple who had probably been married longer than I've been alive. From the beginning, the husband knew exactly what he wanted. His wants were typical for a dude. He wanted as little change as possible. Matter of fact, he would have been fine keeping his current home exactly the way it was and not dealing with any of the other bullshit. The wife was the complete opposite. She didn't know what the hell she wanted. She just knew she wanted something. Her mind was constantly changing. She wanted open space. She didn't want open space. She wanted modern. She didn't want it to be too modern. As the episode progressed, I noticed the husband was giving less and less input. The couple of times that he would speak up, his wife would immediately shoot his ideas down. The poor dude! He just wanted to keep his house the way it was, keep the peace. He knew exactly what he wanted. Now, there is no right or wrong here. Women are not wrong for being talkers. The wife isn't wrong for having no idea what she wants. The husband's not wrong for knowing exactly what he wanted while also wanting to give his wife whatever she wanted so she was happy and he could keep the peace. It's just an example of the natural differences between men and women. Now, these are mental and personality type differences. The physical differences, I don't think I need to explain them. Last month, the NHL sponsored a hockey tournament in Wisconsin. It was an all-trans draft tournament featuring only transgender players. Now, I didn't cover this story last month because at the time, there just wasn't much to it. Initially, I thought it was a youth tournament involving kids. Once I figured out the tournament was filled with adult players, I didn't really see a problem with it. If a group of adult men and women who identify as the opposite gender want to get together and play hockey, okay, go for it. If the NHL wants to sponsor the tournament financially to show the useless that they're dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion, okay, go for it. Although we ignored the story here on the channel, the mainstream media was full of praise for the NHL. NBC News, the Daily Mail, Mediaite. The NHL, they boasted about their dedication to diversity on their website and in press releases. The Monday following the tournament, the NHL took to Twitter to brag about the success of this momentous occasion. We have accomplished another first, and we know how much the shitfucks love a first. The NHL is proud to be a part of the first ever trans hockey tournament. Hockey is for everyone, except the evil white man. Now, it's important to remember, the NHL tweeted this the Monday morning after the tournament. Remember that detail. When the NHL was met with the expected backlash from people with common sense, they vehemently defended their decision. Trans women are women. Trans men are men. Non-binary identity is real. There was a dose of reality handed out at this tournament, but it didn't have a damn thing to do with the non-binary. This tournament was held 3 weeks ago. Vice had a camera crew filming the event. Yet for some strange reason, we have heard absolutely nothing about the outcome of this tournament. Outside of a handful of pictures that shows groups of players giving each other woke hugs and exchanging cucumbers, there has been little to no detail about what actually happened at this tournament. Now, you would think the NHL would be proud to congratulate the winners. You would think they would show results of individual games. You would think Mainstream media outlets would interview the champions of the tournament. You would think the shitfucks would be bragging about the success of this event. Yet for some strange reason, it has been complete silence. It's almost like the NHL wants this epic event in diversity to be forgotten. Why? Why? Jonathan Kay is an editor for something called Quillette. He wrote a lengthy article describing what actually happened at this epic event in diversity. From what I can tell, Jonathan Kay attended the tournament personally. He described the ambiance during the first round as being particularly friendly. The bigger and more advanced players, which I would feel safe in assuming were the biological men, they were playing with reduced intensity in order to keep things competitive. In other words, they felt sorry for the women. It would be like NBA players competing against WNBA dump divers pretending to play basketball in a real basketball game. LeBron James, he is not going to posterize Sue Bird. I know the Sue Bird has the ability to fly, but she ain't stopping LeBron James. LeBron, he doesn't want to embarrass her. Now, there were 6 teams in this NHL-sponsored tournament. Well, KC, what were the team names? Was it the Tran Dans, the Questioning Quintons, the Non-Binary Nates? No. Tournament officials, they put their collective brain cell together and formed creative names for the teams. Each team represented a different color of Fruity Pebbles. Pink, white, black, green. Ooh, who can forget the color purple? As the tournament began, people in the crowd noticed that there was one team who held a obvious competitive advantage. They were physically bigger, they were stronger, they were faster. It was like they were playing the game at a different level. KC, I bet this team was filled with trans men who used to be women. Yeah. You would be wrong. Now that answer would give you an A+ in Diversity 101 at Woke U, but here in the world of reality, you're graded an SF. Shit fuck. The dominant team in this tournament was the pink team. The pink team was filled with, you guessed it, dudes. The hockey stick wasn't the only swinging stick attached to their body. The pink team had the advantage of playing with 2 sticks instead of 1. Now take a guess, take a wild guess at which team won the tournament. During the championship game, the pink team played the black team. The evil white team, they had been eliminated by this point. For the first time in league history, the NHL was guaranteed to have a diverse champion. During the second period, the pink team held an emergency team meeting. This meeting was spurred by feelings of guilt. They were kicking their opponent's ass. The final score ended up being 7-1. Now, during this meeting, they were discussing whether they should end the game early so the embarrassment wouldn't continue. One pink team member could be heard saying, "Let's just end the game and say, everybody wins! Oh, participation trophies for all! We are all winners here! Grab the cucumber! Let's have a tag team celebration!" Unfortunately for one black team member, the championship game continued. Now, before I show you this clip, I just want to make something crystal clear. At no point in the tournament were there any instances of biological men using their physical dominance to take advantage of weaker players. There was no bullying. If anything, the men were playing at 50%, trying not to hurt the biological women. But, this is hockey. I'm not sure if the NHL knows this. Hockey is a dangerous physical sport. And while I'm thinking about it, what would have happened if a fight broke out at this tournament? Last I checked, a man beating on a woman would be felony battery. Fights break out at hockey games all the time. What would they have done had a fight broken out? Did anyone think about that? I highly doubt it. Their minds were filled with ecstasy as they thought all about the diversity represented in this tournament of vegetables. One player on the black team is lucky that she's not a real vegetable. Late in the game, this member of the black team checks in. It was a woman who identified as a man. Perhaps he or she thought because she identified as a man, she could compete physically with men. If that were the case, she thought wrong. Watch what happens. have been hit harder by my 5-year-old nephew. This poor girl or man, whatever. This poor person was barely touched. It was like the wind from the dude knocked her over. She ended up with a severe concussion. Thankfully, she's okay, but this was frightening at the time it happened. This is what happens when you allow men to compete against women. Is it starting to make sense to you now why the NHL has kept this tournament a secret? Is it starting to make sense why they have never released the results? One of my viewers, they emailed this story to me 2 days ago. Now, I thought about getting into it yesterday, but I wanted to wait. I wanted to give the woke media enough time to cover the story. Now, as of 12:30 today, not one woke media outlet has picked up the story. Not one. Like I said, I had to read about it on something called Quillette. Now, I don't fault the NHL for what happened. I fault the NHL for being dumb enough to sponsor something like this. If tragedy had happened and one of these women had been seriously injured, the NHL would be screwed. Public perception of the league would nosedive. They would have a worse perception publicly than the NBA. Now, while I don't like seeing the woman being injured, I'm having a bit of a tough time feeling sorry for her. Sometimes in life, you get exactly what you wish for. You put yourself in that situation. How come this story isn't front page news in the New York Times? Had this happened 5, maybe 10 years ago, this would be national news. It would be a scandal. Instead, the NHL and the woke media are burying the story. They don't want you to know about it. What an honest media we have in this country. Give me your thoughts. No question is even necessary today. Just tell me what you think. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.